This is the training video on emptying the baler. We can see the red light is on, it's full. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna lift the baler back up so that we can make sure that there's a top on the bale. So go ahead and lift it up. Gotta hold it. So it doesn't have a good top on it. So we're gonna put a good top on it and then crush it back down, and so we can open the door up. Now that we put the top on it, we'll come over here and spin this wheel to release the clamp on the front of the door. Let the door swing open, and the wires we keep in this little holder here. So we're going to pull out 4 wires here and then push them through. So they're going to go in these slots. Sometimes a slot gets covered by the cardboard. Sometimes you have to use a rod to poke it through. We actually keep a little rod that has a sharp end on it that actually helps well to poke on the other side if you can't see all the way through there and can't get the wire in. So we're going to feed that wire through the back there. On the back, we're going to feed it back under here. Once we have those wires in there, we'll show you how the best way to tie them is, and then how to get ready to eject. So I've pushed all the wires through the back and looped them back around. You gotta make sure that when you're doing this, there's nothing inside that loop. So obviously electrical tied up in that loop would be really bad. We can't use the channel that has the chain. So we loop it back around to the front. And while we're back here, we take these and drop them on here. That's for the bale ejection process. Now we're gonna go back and pull those wires tight, tie them off, and get ready to eject. Okay, so I've done this one as an example. Digby's gonna help us out here. The reason I'm showing this in detail is because I like to get it nice and tight. So we're gonna pull that loop up higher in the bale. Now, we're gonna bend that around the loop on the wire. But once we get it, he's gonna pull it tight. That gets, see how much slack comes out of that? So if he were to tied it off right there, the bale would not be as tight. So he pulled out a bunch of the slack. He got another 4 inches on that. Now he's able to twist that thing in, spin it around there 5, 6, 10 times, something like that. Spin it nice and tight so that it's not gonna loosen up when we eject the bale, because when we eject the bale, it's gonna fluff up a little bit and we're gonna get it nice and tight. So we'll finish off the other 2 and show how to eject. So you notice when we did this one, the knot was really low. When you put the knot up higher, it's a whole lot easier to bend around. I took my knot way up top as far as I could before I started tightening it. So there is some slack in there, but that'll all come out. The tighter you can get these, the better, but that'll all come out when we eject it. So you notice we already put the pallet down. It's important to get the pallet down because otherwise you're trying to scoop this up off the ground with the forks, which some people can't do, some people can do, but it's just easier to throw it on a pallet so we can easily load it and move it around. So next thing to do is turn that to the up position. And since we already have our chains on the back, the ram will come up and it'll pop that thing out. So go ahead and let's make that go up, eject that thing. Stand clear because it will flump down, and that bale is somewhere between 800 and 1,000 pounds. Oh, I pulled this up. Even when it's open, that has to be all the way down or it won't work. So go ahead. So it grabs the safety there. And as it comes up, the chains will tighten on the back and push it out onto the pallet. There's a bale. You need to have a sturdy pallet or you'll crack it. I think that one cracked, but it didn't break out. So the last step here, last two steps, is to put another bottom on. If the bottom is on like that, it gives a nice solid bottom, a nice solid top. Those are important for putting the wires on, because if you don't have that, it'll clutter up the channels. So we're gonna go ahead, remove the chains off of the back. We're gonna have the bottom put in. We're gonna close the door and tighten up the wheel, and then we are ready to bale more cardboard. I'll remove the chains from the crusher or the ram itself and make sure they lay flat in the channels, and we put a couple large pieces of cardboard to make a good bottom. They don't have to lay perfectly flat, so long as they cover the bottom like that, because that'll crush down as we go. Then we're going to go and close the door and tighten it. Once that's seated properly, it doesn't have to be really, really tight. It just needs to be in place. And once that's done, we can start throwing boxes in there and start crushing away. Back for operation.